name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is October 28, 2025. It is 4:41 a.m. This is video number 2. I just want to get some recording out of the way. So let's go on X. First tweet. William psyops got rid of Harry and Meghan, and now the FUncle uncle, that's Andrew. I hope co-play Katia is taking notes, because he clearly will have no qualms about getting rid of her when he's ready. No wonder she aged in banana years. She can't let her guard down. That, well, she could take that as a warning. It's up to her. Chase him for how many years? Nah, I don't think he'll do that. Their current arrangement is important for his pretentious image of family man. Plus, he has to look better in his marriage than Harry. They live separate lives but keep up appearances while he has the freedom to play with other women. She's a kept woman. I don't doubt that. It's not like he doesn't have Betty model to follow, but regardless, Katia will always know that he can turn the world against her. Her broke parents, her druggy uncle, and her grifting brother and a heartbeat. She'll live with that fear forever. That's if she doesn't care about the others. Sometimes when people say they don't care, these are the people you need to be very careful with. Like Trump, look at him. You think he cares? Well, that's the D life she chose. Castle and tiaras over freedom and happiness. LOL, you're so right. Them two will never know peace. That's why they're aging like that. I don't want to pee on anyone's roses, but Chuck the Third will never take that. Chuck the Third. King Charles the Third will never take down the nuns. Picture this. Chuck, brother, I can't protect your vile life any longer. Nuns, LOL. If I go down your maj, I'm taking you with me. Unsurvivable by the royal shot show, in my opinion. So some of the spelling here is to prevent Twitter, to not trigger Twitter to take them down. Okay, I learned that from one of the squaddies who commented on my video, and I read one of her comment, and she said, "Oh, thank God you read it correctly, because I specifically wrote it that way, but I read it the way that she meant, because Twitter had done something to her account when she made reference to certain people." Okay, on my last video, I shared this. No, not fully. I went to look for it, and I was like, you know what? I'll share it in the next video. So here it is. Remember William's evil private secretary, whom Prince Harry called the Fly and Spare? He was rewarded with a peerage. The whole system is so corrupt, and William is at the center of the corruption. They elevate people who's royal to them. One thing I have to say about Simon Case, okay? He was the one who wrote, who helped William to get rid of Harry. Put it on paper, okay? It was learned in court. Whenever people are saying, oh, Harry left and this and that, make it seem like Harry took the full decision himself to leave. No. William kicked him out with the help of this guy, okay? Simon Case. So what I think with Simon Case, he seems like someone who understands the law. Okay? I don't know if he has a law degree, if he, I don't know. Okay? Let me pause for a second. I could search that. Okay, so the answer is no. Alright, this is what I wrote on Google. Does Simon Case have a law degree? No, Simon Case does not have a law degree. His academic background is in history. His education include Bachelor of Arts degree history from Trinity College, Cambridge, a Doctor of Philosophy, PhD degree in political, there it is, history from Queen Mary University of London, which he was awarded in 2007. Okay, so I guess this is where he's elevating. But what I got from him, okay, since he's worked with for many politicians, many MPs, so he must know the law very well. So whenever they need to get out of some mess that those politicians are in, it seems like he's the go-to guy. That's what I got from him. Okay, they hire him, they say, can you please do this for me? And he did it. This is someone I would say probably who has, I don't know, no moral compass to think in a broader way, where let's say someone said do some illegal thing and he had to process it and say, oh, this is gonna affect society at large, I'm not gonna do it, this kind of thing. But it seems like whenever they need, they meaning politician, the royal family like William, wants something to be done within the law, he seems like he's the guy they go to. Not something under the law. It seems like when they want something to be done, okay, and they call on him to find something within the law that could, that they could maneuver around it. Am I explaining it correctly? Okay, they want to do something really bad, but they call on him to find something within the law that will justify why they do certain things. That's what I get. That's my perception of him since I've been looking into his stuff. Okay? Former Whitehall Chief Simon Case takes seat on red benches in House of Lords. The 46-year-old who served 4 prime ministers, you see, 4 prime ministers will sit as an independent crossbencher. All right? Whatever his position does and over there, so they give him a seat there. So he probably does his thing well and they're rewarding him. All right, there's that. Pretend to be shocked. The truth even according to Grok. Let's see here. Answer the 3-line. Okay. Oh, a person who gleefully okay, that's something else. Okay, is that a ad? Yeah, that's an ad. I thought that was part of the thing. Okay, for service rendered. You see, that's exactly that. I agree with this. Simon Case was involved in the cash for leak scandal on behalf of Prince William, then gets his reward with a past peerage post. That's from Byline. It's starting to look like the royal family is involved with more corruption and dubious characters than a crime syndicate. Okay, so I think I covered this in one of my videos. In plain sight, the picture the palace probe missed. In 2020, Simon Case was tasked to investigate payments from Dan Wooten and the son to the partner of royal press officer, allegedly for information about Prince Harry and Meghan. He found there were no evidence of wrongdoing, but Byline Time can shed further light. Okay? This I think I covered. Alright, he was the one who injected cutthroat politics into KP to change the lazy profile of William. Simon Case and William sold Harry and Meghan to the tabloid. Now the press cannot utter anything negative about the very lazy and work-shy William, is on the way. Alright, the more I see what the royal do in real time, I think King Henry VIII, yes, King Henry VIII executes several family members and close relatives who pose a real or perceived threat to his throne, particularly if they had a competing claim to the crown. These executions were often politically motivated, stemming from a dynastic insecurity of the Tudor line and Henry's intense desire to secure his succession with a male heir. Alright. It seems that a seat on the red benches in the House of Lords comes pretty cheap. All one needs is Lake William boots. No, in this aspect, I think he worked for it. I think he worked for it. And he has backing of other politicians. This was the big mistake the royal family did by hiring politicians like Simon Case. I think it when he was working, when there was an article that says William hired him, Simon Case, for whatever position, and I was like, oh my God, they bring politician into. Meanwhile, when I said that, men in gray suit were already, meddling with politicians and telling them what's going on and how the royal family works. It's done with. Is he the guy who was always too ill to attend the COVID inquiry and kept putting it off? I think that was him. Yes, he's the coward pretending to be sick to avoid testifying till Stormer sacked his ass when he just back in the government job, starting leaking Stormer and his wife's private business to the tabloid and the right-wing media. The power-hungry guy is sick and evil to the core. Okay, so that explains that. Alright, that's why royal family will never be abolished, as they make sure the people who make the law are their people in the laws. That's it. That is it. So any legislations that's detrimental or suggest even amend rules relating to royal family are blocked or not even time to discuss. That's exactly that. So they put him right there, knowing that this is their guy. It's up to the people. Everything else is up to the people. If they want, like in one of the videos I show in video 1, where Charles was somewhere out and about, and one of the people in the crowd was talking about Andrew and Epstein thing. So if the people are not, on the street and do what needs to be done, then they will remain there. They will create laws to benefit the wealthy. That's it. Okay, and this is what Trump is trying to do here. He's the one, if memory serves, who was too ill to appear before the COVID inquiry. Simon Case, wasn't he the one who took a sickie during COVID, but then waddling around in his willies and Cirencester? It's thanks to high heaven. The royals have always been corrupt in one way or another, going back centuries using charities to clean up their dirty image. Yeah. Giant peace stake, BP briefs against Harry and Meghan to distract from possibly pedo Andy, and the people doing it on their behalf are rewarded. This family is balmy. See, the problem with getting people to carry out your dirty orders is they know your dirt. Now you have to pay and you're never free.
My father and my brother, they are trapped. They don't get to leave. And I have huge compassion for that.
There's that. The monarchy and the outdated and unrepresentative House of Lords both needs to be abolished. Okay? Tell me how the monarchy doesn't have power over laws. There's that. This is the thing. They're hiding behind that thing. They don't make the law or whatever. But they're putting their people to make sure the law cater to them. He also avoid the COVID. Okay, people are repeating the same thing about COVID. Get paid good money to turn up. Cheap meals and drink doesn't have to stay there just so long as he signed, and it's great. It's a great thank you. The palace KP to pay him for his services done to getting rid of the Sussexes. See? There it is. He was the one who put it in writing for William. That way, he never speaks. That's it. But the thing is that if all the people that did the dirty work for the royal family put their heads together and say enough is enough, that's the only thing, one of many ways the royal family will be gone. Okay, his enforcer got a seat at the table. This should be interesting. And this is why as well the royal family have their people who capture all form of communication, the media. So these are something, unless if byline talk about what's happening here, otherwise, the people will not know about it. They're distracting us with Harry and Meghan going to the pumpkin patch and farm and doing things. This is why they're talking about Harry and Meghan. So to become one of these red robe oppressors, you inherited or indulged in corruption that will make heaven weep. Sick punk, colonialist, human destroying a human slave trading monster. Alright, he, Young, and Willie are in cahoot with each other. They're playing in our faces now. The House of Lords just sound like a pile of corruption. These people have no business making decisions for the country. Wasn't he too ill to attend the COVID inquiry at the beginning? So people know that is up to the UK. As crazy as the US sound, okay, even though I'm staying away from politics a little bit, but there's some people who's fighting back. And if you look in the US, let's say in New York, when ICE is trying to grab people on the street, people fight back. It started with the Haitian. And over the summer, they went to a neighborhood, a black neighborhood that has a lot of Haitian, and they tried to grab people. The Haitian, went after them. So it seems like this is the blueprint that the West is doing now. When they go after some people, the whole community go after ICE. They have to run. Charles basically proved that being accused of diddling minors, trafficked teens, and being BFF with convicted nuns is 1000% more acceptable and more welcome than protecting the life of your wife and kids. Abolish the monarchy. Never forget, he evicted Harry by email, but this pedo gets to negotiate free housing as punishment. Next tweet. This is a TikTok. I think this is a TikTok video. Okay, so this is Martin. I haven't come across some of his videos lately. If he is on YouTube, check him out, okay? And subscribe. I don't like to tell people to subscribe. Use your judgment, because many times when I tell people to subscribe to some squatty stuff, next thing I know, they turn vile. So use your judgment. He usually talk common sense. Let's just say that. What you pay for rent as royal. There's that, the shocking face, and the laugh. To be fair, why do they still have to pay rent if the house is gifted by the Queen? Can someone please enlighten me on how that works in the UK? This is nonsense they put on people's head. But let's listen.
Morning friends, happy Monday, how the heck are you doing? And I got this one very wrong, didn't I? Because I said that Edward would be paying probably a reduced rent of £40,000 a year for his absolutely massive country estate. You can see it there, pictured above us with Edward. On the open market, this property is worth about £40 million. Well, it turns out he's not paying £40,000 a year. He's paying £12,000 a year in rent for the whole of this property. And if you don't think as a British taxpayer...
He said 12,000. This says only 1,000. But let's listen.
You're now being absolutely ripped off. And as a royalist, you've been deceived for decades. I don't know what's wrong with you. For £1,000 a month where I live, in the northwest of the UK, it's a 2-bedroom small house. That's what £1,000 will get you. Edward pays the same for all of this. And don't ask me how he's funding staff, security, maintenance bills, gardeners. Look at the size of the gardens. Don't ask me how he's funding all this stuff, because you know what? He's not had a proper job for decades, and neither of has his wife. So where's his income coming from for running costs, for sundries, for expenses, for travel, for food, for staff? We just don't know. 2026 is the year that this royal pantomime ends. It's all coming out now, and they can't hide from it anymore, and Charles knows it. Comments are open as ever. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, it's boiling down to shut down. This is what I'm saying. They should make a deal with the people now so they could stay in the country and then stay out of all this nonsense. They probably have to go out of the country. They can, because they'll be too corrupting people. But then again, there's... what is it called? This electronics. They could still talk. But anyway, let's read. Properties like Bagshot Park, Edward's home, are owned by the Crown Estate, so they lease it from the Crown Estate. It's not the private property of the monarch. The monarch privately owns Balmoral and St. James Estate. Okay, so when the media says so was gifted a home, it's technically not gifted, rather a soft lease. Then you see, because if I'm gifted something by my family, be it anything, it will remain mine to do so as I wish. This is what I thought with Fragment for Harry and Meghan. Even give it away, it's mine. That's why I was confused. Alright, isn't Will supposed to pay everyone's rent from his duchy money as Prince of Wales. Exactly, 100%. Okay, so there's one comment regarding this one here. Prince of Wales duchy is for his family. The rest of royal family or the monarch's duty. Whatever. They're making it so confused for everybody. Alright, so this is another video here from LBC. Let's pause. They're talking. People are talking. I don't know. They are men in grey suit along with politicians. This is where it's coming to merge. The US is where the UK, those politicians in the UK wanted the US to be in. They control every form of government, the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and the Supreme Court. And now, what's holding politicians, those high-profile people who's controlling things in the UK, want the, in my humble opinion, this is my crazy thinking, okay? That doesn't mean it's true. It's just aligned with some of the thing I've said in past video. So now, they got the US where they wanted, and they're controlling the US right now to a certain extent. They want to have full control of the UK as well. What's holding them back is the royal family. So they're putting things out now so people could get angry and then get people go after the royal family to get out of the country. This is why we're seeing all of these things coming out. So this is a video from LBC. They scramble a helicopter circling over Royal Lodge. Okay, this person here, Emily M, tells who's this? Sheila Fogarty about a very odd incident on Thursday night in the Prince Andrew saga. Okay, so let's listen to this. 1 minute and 32 seconds, screenshot.
Something really odd happened last Thursday night, actually, Sheila, and I became aware that a story was possibly developing around Royal Lodge when lots of media organisations started getting a tip-off that they should send crews down to the gates of Royal Lodge. And the phrase that was used was, there may be passing traffic. And it was such a sort of
a removal
odd
ban.
Well, not anything as strong as that.
No.
It was just this phrase, passing traffic. And so I know that a lot of media organisations scrambled crews. The BBC, I think, scrambled more than a crew. I think they scrambled a helicopter, which started circling over Royal Lodge, waiting for something to happen. So I got wind of this and I said, I think there is going to be a developing...
Seeing that helicopter hovering over the Andrew's house, this is what Meghan didn't want for them. This is the exchange. Harry wants his privacy and the others stay in the gilded cage. Let's continue. And they have to get some of their private life being hovering over. I don't know.
Story tipped off about 8 o'clock, and suddenly the whole thing went dead. And what we understand was going to happen was that Prince Charles was going to come via Royal Lodge on the way back from his trip with the Pope, Vatican in Rome, and was going to possibly read Andrew the Riot Act. That was the passing traffic. The King will be making his way...
A rather nicer car than a removal van.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we would then have to sort of piece together what had
What's
happened.
gone on in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think the palace got nervous. They suddenly started seeing the size of the sort of media
response.
spread, the response, the chopper overhead, and they went, hang on a sec, this is all going to sound kind of way overblown. We're pulling it. So the thing that we were waiting...
Never happened.
I think some of the squad were talking about it, and go to some of my videos. I mean, this is what's good with the squad. They raised it in some tweet. So now I'm hearing it verbally from one of the royal rats. Okay? There's that. Pathetic. Why does a family of 5 need a 30-room house? Surely you'd be better off turning it into something public. God, these two women are detestable. At BBC, using a helicopters and a non-story blunder, how much did that cost? I mean, they thought something was gonna happen. It's not under their control. Well, then again, the connection with the royal family with BBC. I don't know what to say. If something did happen, at least they would have got the information and then they will report on it. All right, I'm coughing a lot lately. All right, so this is another thing that I came across. We now been able to confirm that this image was in the back garden of Royal Lodge. BBC Joe Pike says Prince Andrew hosted Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell at Royal Lodge. Okay, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The mess that's going on in the UK, it's unbelievable. They're unleashing on them. They're letting everything out. And thank God Harry and Meghan are not there. Thank God. God, you're great.
Well, let's just look at this photo, the key photo in this story, Victoria. The date is July 2006. The occasion is Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday. It was a masked ball. This picture is not new. We knew Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell there in the mask all attended this event. But the event...
What is it? Harvey Weinstein? I believe he's in jail right now. Let me pause and look. Yeah, he is. Yes, Harvey Weinstein is in jail and has been in custody since his 2020 New York conviction. His 2020 conviction was overturned and he is awaiting a retrial, during which he has been held at Rikers Island Jail, but has also been hospitalized at Bellevue Hospital due to poor health. He was also convicted in Los Angeles in 2022 for sexual assault and faces a 16 years sentence there. All right, so same group. My God, they use their power to manipulate people. And I think Willian Farrell, oh my God, I remember his name, did a piece on him. Let's look this up again. Let me pause. And when Willian Farrell was talking about the piece that he did on Harvey Weinstein, it's like a freaking organized crime. He explained how they were hounding him and do all sort of things to threaten him to not report on the thing. So this is what I wrote on Google. Did Willian Farrell did a story on Harvey Weinstein? Okay, this is him right here on the side. Yes, Willian Farrell did a story on Harvey Weinstein, which was published in the New Yorker in 2017 and helped launch the Me Too movement. He initially reported on the story for NBC, but moved it to the New Yorker after the network declined to air it. Okay, when you see something like that, NBC is the station that Trump was caught on video, on audio, to Billy Bush, saying how he will grab women by you know what. Okay, this is the same station. So NBC declined to air it. They all are connected. His reporting won a Pulitzer Prize for public service, shared with the New York Times. Okay, so you could look more into that. The Me Too movement. There's some women who play a key role on some of these things. Each time there are men who's helping them to have their own voice, and there's some women who's also suppressing other women's voice. There's something I want to say, but I don't want to say it. And I have report on this particular person on my channel before. Some of the things that I think that happened to the Middle East and other things, that woman was part of the Me Too movement as well. But I'm not going to say. Back to this. All right, so Harvey Weinstein, that's this guy. He is in jail, okay? BBC Joe Pike says Prince Andrew hosted Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell at Royal Lodge. All right. Oh, it was playing. I forgot. Let me start all over.
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell there in the mask all attended this event. The event was at Windsor Castle up the road. We've now been able to confirm that this image was in the back garden of Royal Lodge, and that before the main event, these three characters were among a small number of people brought to attend a sort of smaller drinks event. So for the first time, we're able to say that Prince Andrew hosted Weinstein, Epstein and Maxwell at Royal Lodge. Royal Lodge, of course, his home that is publicly owned, where he effectively lives rent-free, although he has, we should say, spent millions on restoring it and on its upkeep. Prince Andrew has not responded to a request for comment, but a bit of important context, Victoria, on the timing of this. 2 months before this image was taken, a arrest warrant was issued in the United States for Jeffrey Epstein for the sexual assault of a minor, and very soon after this image was taken, he was arrested in Florida. In terms of the prince's awareness of that, he said in his new...
Look how he avoided Virginia Giuffre's name. All right? So I talk about this on my channel. This is why my channel is not doing so well. Because the key issues, the moment I started looking into Harry and Meghan, I was pointed to this nonsense. And it was so much I had to share. Let's continue.
Newsnight interview, which is now, 6 years ago, he was unaware of an arrest warrant when the invitation to the party was issued. He only found out when there was media coverage, and Jeffrey Epstein did not mention that arrest warrant.
And how have you identified?
Even if he had mentioned the arrest warrant, guess what? Andrew got himself involved with Epstein Florida case. Okay? When he didn't have to. It has nothing to do with him. But he was using his status to help Jeffrey Epstein get off whatever mess he was in Florida. And also, this is why Harry was saying this is so much bigger than just us. When he was doing his speech at the Centre Bally event before he left the UK to go meet Meghan in Canada. He said, this is so much bigger than just us.
You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force. And my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us.
Meaning him and Meghan. Because this is a ring of people connected in all sort of life. Politicians, business people, actors, actresses, who knows? All walks of life, they are all connected. And then they did Virginia Giuffre so wrong in that Florida case. Virginia Giuffre had the upper hand. They gave her a deal, and I don't want to blame her for it too much, but it is the trust thing. Jeffrey Epstein provided Virginia Giuffre with a lawyer, and the lawyer was pretty much, yes, pretending representing Virginia Giuffre, but was doing the bidding for Jeffrey Epstein. And they gave her, I think, $500,000 to settle. There's some videos I have. I think I read some of those documents, whatever I saw, some past videos. Go check them out, okay? All right, let's continue. And then the worst thing is, when Andrew got in trouble in New York, he uses that settlement, whatever NDA, whatever things that was discussed between Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre and the Florida thing. Because Virginia Giuffre cannot talk about it. She signed an NDA. But when Andrew got problem, get in trouble with the law in New York, he mentioned what was happening in Florida. And he knew Virginia Giuffre cannot talk about it because she signed the NDA. Because if she spoke about it, the Epstein estate would have sued her for talking about it. So what had happened, because Andrew, they're so freaking stupid, and God is working in a mysterious way as well. After Andrew attacked all corners, whatever he was able to do to prevent the Virginia Giuffre case from moving forward, because he wanted the judge to dismiss it so he could get off scot-free. After using all sort of roadblocks that were put in front of him, he jumped them, and he mentioned the agreement between Virginia Giuffre and Epstein. And because he kept on using it, whatever the wording that were used in that NDA or whatever it was, the judge in New York asked to release that document. What we find out in the document is that I think the person who crafted that document knew very well there are other royals who are involved in that ring. So they use the term royals, okay? Meaning it could be Andrew, it could be Charles, it could be William, it could be anyone that is part of the royals, okay? To fall under the word royal. So what the judge said, okay, we see the word royals, but your name is Andrew, Prince Andrew. Your name is not in it. So whatever you're saying you covered under that NDA, the judge threw it out and said it doesn't affect you because your name is not on it. The name that the judge was looking for was Prince Andrew. It was nowhere near that document. So the thing had to go forward. And this is when he decided to settle with Virginia Giuffre. He even attacked the constitutionality of New York law, because the governor at that time made some changes into, I guess, child abuse or something like that. If I find that screenshot, I'll put it on the screen. Okay, saying that people, he extend the date where anyone who have been assaulted or children who have been under certain circumstances can sue. And this is where Virginia Giuffre fall in, and this is why she was able to sue Andrew. And then Andrew was, attacking the constitution of the law, saying this is not this, they should not do this, and all of that. The judge threw it out, and he had no more choices, no more no more argument. That's why he settled with Virginia Giuffre. Okay, but in the UK, he kept on saying he never met her, he didn't know her, this kind of thing. Why will you pay that much money when you don't know somebody? Okay, so all of those things that I just said here, it's on some videos on APTS Sussex. All right. Did we finish? Oh my God, I don't want to start this all over. Let's continue.
Identified that picture was taken at Royal Lodge.
A number of ways. So we've matched the trees in the background, as well as in the wider image, the small wall in the background and the sort of grate, and matched that to other images of Royal Lodge, including some way back many decades ago. We've also spoken to a witness, somebody who was there and who certainly remembers Weinstein and Epstein at this event, which took place in the garden. Lots of photos were taken, including of the princesses and their parents, before everybody went up the road to Windsor Castle for a big champagne reception and a big dinner event hosted in the big state hall where Donald Trump was just a few weeks ago.
And you see, it's done.
Yeah.
Epstein dressing as this particular whatever thing in the army or something like that. I don't think he ever served. All right, let's look that up. All right, so this is what I wrote on Google. Did Epstein ever serve in the U.S. military? Jeffrey Epstein never served in the U.S. military. Reports of him in military attire stem from 2006 costume party at Windsor Castle, where he dressed as a U.S. Navy SEAL. All right, so I don't know what lies he was giving those people. So this is how he dressed. All right, so there's a lot of things here. You knew the truth all this time, but chose to attack Harry instead. These images have been around for years, but you chose to protect Andrew. His crimes weren't as bad as marrying the black lady, I guess. All right, so he retweeted himself here. Anyway, here are some pictures of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell enjoying themselves at Windsor Castle, Sandringham, Buckingham Palace, and even in the Queen's cabin. But sure, nothing to see here. Apparently, they also had security paid by taxpayers every time. All right, so there's all of this, some of those images. As I'm seeing some of these things here, I'm thinking the squaddies who said they're not, even him, that actor, is in this ring. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I spoke about this. They made sure to take that picture right where the Queen sat, so they could say no doubt he was there. All these are framing the royal family as well. All right, everyone knew this though. How is this news? Next question: did Prince Andrew take Epstein and Maxwell to all the royal associated properties? There's all of that. All right. Let's. There's more images. Charles. These old people. This is the thing here. Look how old this guy is in comparison to Charles. These are the things that they're transferring to the younger generation. And now you're seeing Charles behaving like that and transferring it along. When is it gonna stop? When is this gonna stop? This is a perfect image of that, what I've been saying, where all people are passing it on to the next generation. God damn, these people are evil. Let's go to the next tweet. I spent too much time on this. Sheesh. God help us. There's this here. I remember when King Charles said that they were taking Harry's home that he paid £2.4 million for to save taxpayers' money. Then the home stayed rent-free for 3 years. But a more important question is, has the royal family repaid the £2.4 million they owe Harry and Meghan? Every time I think about this, I'm like so freaking pissed. But I think the other side of this is God was just testing Harry and Meghan to see how dedicated they are to their truth, to their, not only their truth, to their commitment to each other, how far they will go. Because it was roadblock after roadblock, unnecessary roadblocks after roadblocks those evil people were throwing at them. But they stood firm. They stood firm. So God was testing them and said, okay, I see. Now this is your reward. Whatever they have right now, that's going on in the US. And we need to keep on praying. And I think God is still testing them, but in a different way. Our prayers should never stop for them. Okay, after Harry and Meghan spent £2.4 million on Frogmore, now workmen go in to prepare it for Shame Andy. Cosmore Cottage. If workers were preparing Frogmore for weeks, all the posturing of the last 10 days were just theater. Obviously, Andrew knew he was moving out, while all the fake negotiation and threats. I mean, like I said in some past videos, the drip, 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 because the tabloid wants to keep on talking. They already know the finished product, if this is true. So they have to linger it, stretch it out to write nonsense for people to talk about and get paid for it. The royal family like drama. Remember how they dramatized Archie's birth after Harry and Meghan and Archie were already home. This is exactly what's going on. Naturally, they took Harry's money and then kicked him out. They are too cheap to reimburse him. You know, I'm still upset about that. And thank God Harry and Meghan have a different kind of mindset. They move on. They move on, and they are hard workers. They are inventors. They create. They're doing their thing. Is it today? I think As Ever supposed to launch something. Let me pause for a second. Let me go on IG. Okay, I'm on IG. Okay, that's it. As Ever. Save the date. October 28, 2025, 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so it's today. So Meghan is gonna have a launch today. So God is rewarding them. And past videos, probably the video that I recorded a few minutes ago, the squad are waiting. Okay, what secret does Andrew have? Do you know that for sure? Or are you just pushing a narrative suggesting they are all by the royal family, as if they aren't already living off of them as they always have since their marriage? But also Harry's entire life. Let's not get this twisted. Harry's taking care of himself, okay? Next tweet. Can you imagine if the royal family was paying for... Please, let me not waste my time on this. There's this here. Seward. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie should willingly give up their titles. But what title? What title do they have? Princess Eugenie, and that will always be, because the queen was always their monarch. The York, they don't call York whatever. It depends on the father, if I'm not mistaken. You guys could correct me on that. So Charles is promising Andrew that nothing will happen to Eugenie and Beatrice's title. And Williams is briefing that when he's king, he's going to strip them all, including Harry and his kids. Remember, those people have a narrative. Since the beginning I started seeing things, I used to say this is a spiritual war that's going on. All this play a part of it. So their goal is to erase everything that anything that God has created, anything that is original, natural, they want to erase it. And then they're gonna implement their version by copying whatever God has created, and they will claim they were the one who did it. Pretty much that's what it sums up to be. It's hard to explain because not too many people see what I'm seeing. All right, let me see what title these ladies have, because the only thing that I'm aware of is the York title, which is because of their father. But the princess will remain. Let me see. Let me see what they have. What I wrote here. What titles do the York sisters have? Prince Andrew daughters, to make it specific. Okay, Prince Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, both retain their title, Her Royal Highness. Okay, the HRH. Okay, so this is the one they want to strip. Okay, I could see that one. Okay, despite their father's decision to give up his use of the Duke of York. But are they working royals? Okay, they are known by their birth title, Princess Beatrice of York and Princess Eugenie of York. But since their marriages, their title have changed to include their husband's name, such as Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice, Mrs. Eduardo Mapelli Mosey? That's the husband title. Okay. So is the HRH, from what based on Harry and Meghan experiences, the HRH were removed because they're not working royal. The next question is, are the York sisters are working royals? So they're not. So the HRH should be removed. Okay, no, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are not working royals. They are non-working royals who pursue careers in their private sector while still supporting some charities and attending certain royal events. This is what Harry wanted to do in terms of the 50-50, but it was rejected. Thank God for that. They are the daughters of Prince Andrew, and while they retain their titles as princesses, that will remain. Okay, they are not involved in official duties on behalf of the monarchy. So the HRH should be removed. Okay, so there's that. So, okay, I think I read this. Charlotte and Louis should give up their title too. It's too early. What's their title? HRH? Or right now they're just princess and prince. Let's hope they actually do something with their lives and get job. The irony is that it's Harry and Meghan's courage that's made that possible. So should Charles and Camilla. Okay. Alright, so they're talking about titles here, so I don't know much. Yeah, I think Seward has an ulterior motive here. If the children of Queen Elizabeth II's pair are forced to give up their titles regardless of the circumstances, it makes it easier to demand the same be done to children of Charles' pairs. They are all corrupt. Why? Why are they blaming the daughters for what their fathers is accused of? I'm not gonna go into this because I already know. I spoke about it. Some of you have gave your opinion, but that's a different story. I don't want to get into. That's just it. If they open the royal financial can of worms, then a lot of people will question why there's not a wider inquiry. Alright, titles. It's always the titles. That's all these royalists care about. Like it's the ultimate punishment, and that's all it will take to satisfy the public. Those insiders should have been busy yapping, then think the royal family leak anything. This is why I say in some past video, the titles. That's all they have. They treated titles as if it's air and water, as if you cannot live without it. That's all they have. Nothing tangible that could exchange. Pretty much people will want prison time. You could keep your freaking title, but you could go to prison. Alright, then they said the Sussex's children title were tied to their parents when they explained why the kids won't be HRH. Why isn't that the case here? This is why I had to go look to see if they are working royals, and they're not. Exactly. This is why I had to search. They aren't working royals. If their mother, Sarah, needs a roof, surely her daughters can find space for her. Eugene has a place in Portugal. Why? They haven't done anything wrong. They were born with them. The only thing that they could keep is the princess. The princess title. But the HRH need to go because this is what they did to Harry and Meghan. But just another indication that HRH should be restricted only to the heir going forward, not even the spares. Alright? So there's that. Has it been proven the daughters have done anything wrong yet? I think there's a danger of this becoming a witch hunt. Okay. I explained that part already. Let me not get into it. Next tweet, and I think that's a video. Okay, let's pause. everyone is connecting the dots. That family is destroying itself with all the lies. All right, so let's see the headline. The headline here: Royal Black scrutiny of Prince Andrew's peppercorn rent. Former MP accuses authorities of, I can't see that word, welling parliamentary investigation 20 years ago as Stormer backs demand for fresh inquiry. They already muddy up the thing. I said in some past video, before they do a true inquiry, they need to investigate the police who were doing the investigation, who claim Andrew did not do anything wrong, where they toss out the investigation. These are the people they should look into. And then from that point on, get someone brand new to do the inquiry. They're still not going to get it. They're not going to release the truth anyway. A minute and 24 seconds. Oh, one thing that I said in the past is that the only way we will get those inquiry, I think it was at the time when I was talking couple years ago about the inquiry, the only time they will get the truth out is if whoever was doing the investigation make copies of all documents of the investigation, save it somewhere, because right now those documents are burned. They're done with. They're not gonna find it. And it's with those copies, whoever made copies of it will only have the truth. All right, let's listen.
So now we find out that the royal family blocked scrutiny of Prince Andrew's peppercorn rent, which is basically rent that is below the standard of living, and that they were stonewalling a parliamentary investigation 20 years ago. And some people are going to sit here and tell me that the royals have no insight or no authority whatsoever over RAVIC, which stands for Royal and VIP Executive Committee.
I covered the RAVIC thing in many other videos. There's some on PYTE. And Harry brought it up when he realized that some people who work at the palace also work in RAVIC. And they don't leave the final decision to people, authorities within RAVIC. They bring it up to the palace. I spoke about these already.
So when Prince Harry says that his father has authority and the ability to tell RAVIC what to do when he was wondering and concerned about his safety, they're all going to scream at me that the king can have nothing to do with RAVIC. And yet, they are able to block and stonewall Parliament. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how they are able to meddle on one side of the government but not the other. Tell me how they are able to not meddle in a royal specific security situation. It's literally completely ridiculous, and we know that they're lying. So when security was taken from Prince Harry, that was his father's doing.
Yeah, so Harry always tells the truth. Meanwhile, as every holiday drop tomorrow and Meghan can count on me, I set aside my Sussex bucks for these few days. Abolish the monarchy. I like that one. Next tweet. Another TikTok video. Oh my God. I have 2 more left. And the prayer that I have is from one of the squad. Alright, this one is completely off, okay? I think I'm done with the royal left behinders.
Vanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.